Good heavens. Are you still trying to win? You've got an overdeveloped sense of vengeance. It's going to get you into trouble someday.
Hello, my name is Pappy Montoya. I'm here with my mother. Prepare to spoil.
Oh, nice. That's good.
It's a good one.
It's great.
This is Spoiler.
Hey everybody, welcome to one of the most special episodes of Spoilers. It's a Patreon request, and we've done that before. We've had the Patreon come on before, but for the first time ever, my mother, Nurse Stacy, is on the podcast. Give it up for Nurse Stacy.
Aw, thank you guys.
Oh, you got the soundboard.
Thanks for the welcome. I'm excited.
She is a pure woman.
She listens.
She listens through the podcast. She says that she's listened to every episode of Spoilers in the last 5 years, so maybe one of our truest fans.
Oh, absolutely. I haven't missed a single one.
And you had an opening question, Mom. Do you want to let the boys know what you wanted to ask?
Sure. So this movie has great side characters that really, in my mind, make the movie great. So I'm wondering what side characters in any movie that you like can you think of that really elevate the movie or make the movie stand out to you?
We'll go east to west. Brett, you want to go first?
Oh, yeah, sure. This is Brett recording out of Fort Wayne. I'm going to bring up a movie that I don't know if I've ever brought up on Spoilers before. It's a little movie called Grandma's Boy. And
we've talked about that so much.
I don't know if I ever brought it up.
No, pretty sure it's the first time. Nurse Stacy can back me up. I've never talked about Grandma's Boy. I think the character of Jeff really makes that movie. It goes from a good movie to a great movie because of it, and JP. But don't be mad at us. That's all I got. Jeff, Grandma's Boy. You heard it here first.
Who's next Eastus? Is it Stevie?
Josh? It's a constant battle for Eastusness.
They're fighting for territory.
I'll take it. That's fine. I feel like I have a bit of a wordy answer, but Nurse Stacy, I love this question because I've always thought side characters are honestly one of the most important things of any storytelling, books, TV, movies, whatever that may be. I would guess that the listener, if you could just think of like your few favorite media things, you would start realizing how memorable all the side characters are. And I think part of that is because
Young Guns.
It like rich side characters help the main character become more fleshed out, essentially. But anyway, I'll say I'm gonna do a Brett here and name a couple quick ones. I think with Aladdin, the genie is such a strong side character. He like ate up the whole movie. I love Sirius Black from Harry Potter, just like in it for a little bit, but he seems to do like every perfect thing except die. And then finally, Star Wars, C-3PO, Anthony Daniels, former King of Spoilers.
King of Spoilers.
Former King, I believe. But he has to have a shout out here as a side character. They appear in like every Star Wars media there is. Always C-3PO.
It's a good list. Mom, I think you're actually next Eastus. We're sitting next to each other. But I think as the crow flies, you're Eastus.
I'm so sorry for saying so many. I don't like doing that, guys. But
this is awesome. I have a list.
Say my name.
Okay, so I've wanted to say this for a long time. Hi, this is Nurse Stacy recording, either one, from Kalamazoo. Okay, so anyone who knows me really well knows that I have two favorite movies in the whole world, other than Christmas movies. Those don't count. Those are always my favorites. but it's Oh Brother, Where Art Thou and The Princess Bride. So I have to choose someone from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and that is Charles Durning, who plays Pappy O'Daniel.
Is that why you named me Pappy?
I don't recall naming you
Is
Pappy.
you is.
That is an acquired name sometime in your college years. But, oh yeah, I mean, I think Pappy O'Daniel he's just essential to that movie. And I can't picture anyone else playing him. And then for The Princess Bride, it has to be Vicini. Wallace Shawn, I think is his name.
Yep.
And he's just amazing. And I laugh just looking at him before he ever says anything. And I just can't imagine anyone else playing that character. So those are my two top ones.
Inconceivable. A Brett list from Mom. Multiple answers.
I know, mashed potatoes and corn.
Wow. Wait, no, that's Josh. Josh said that.
I don't think so, Brett.
I think Nurse Stacy would know. Brett, she's a super fan. So I'm technically a little bit Weister of my mom. I had a couple spoilers ones that we've done. Jeffrey Tambor and Death of Stalin. Freaking hilarious in that movie.
Yeah.
No problem. And my second one is, Stevie, I hope you appreciate this one. Charles Grodin and Clifford.
Oh, dude.
He's not the main character, but Grodin's a god in that movie. He is so freaking hilarious in his descent into madness.
Talk like a human boy.
Yeah, like a real boy. But yeah, those are my two. Who's next? Mikey?
I think it's me.
Oh, Stevie, sorry.
Okay, I'm going to name three. And these are some are sides and some are sides. I'll go the side first. John Beasley, who played Coach Warren in the movie Rudy.
Yeah.
He's the coach that's talking to the walk-ons that are trying out during the tryout sequence when Rudy's like, I can do it, coach. I don't know why, but his voice is so outstanding in that voiceover and in those scenes.
Not on my defensive line.
Yeah, exactly. I think he absolutely crushes that role. The other one I had was Richard Castellano, who played Clemenza in The Godfather.
Yeah.
I mean, he has so many iconic lines in that movie. And my last side character, I had to name it. I feel it's stupid if I didn't. Would be Gary Busey in Point Break, who played Agent. I have to
Gary
name him.
Busey. Just Gary Busey's a great side character.
I mean, he's just a great side character in general, but in Point Break, he really hits a home run in that movie. So I'll go with those three.
Stevie.
What's his name?
Agent Angelo.
Side characters, you might almost say that Gary Busey wrote the book.
Different guy.
It's Nick
That's
Nolte.
funny.
Maybe not. Oh, yeah, that is Nick. Shit.
Same difference.
They are the same guy.
Future Patreon requested episode coming soon. Mikey?
Yeah, I think I have a couple here. I've only seen this movie once, but this side character stuck out so much to me. Adam Driver and Inside Llewyn Davis as Al Cody. Just
Outer space?
that scene just caught me so off guard. I love it, and I thought it was so funny. Just a really funny cameo. Well, for TV shows, I thought Jack Donaghy was always such a great side character at Liz Lemon. I thought he was one of the best TV characters of all time. Just so funny. Loved every line he said was so sharp. So those are my two.
Mom, what a great opening question. Spoilers lore came out. Yeah,
Can I name one more?
absolutely.
I feel like this is an ultimate side character, and I think you'll appreciate this because not everybody has seen this movie, but Daniel Craig and Logan Lucky steals the show.
That's a good one.
That is an
a good one.
amazing side character.
Yeah, that's a good one.
His best Southern accent performance. And yes, I know
Yes.
he's in the Knives Out movies. One more for me, Cousin Eddie in the Vacation movies.
Oh, yeah.
He's fucking great in those.
For all my basketball fans, Squeak Scolari is the best. And don't forget about the traffic in the movie Lock. That is a really
The
good
real side character.
On that note, I had the great side character for any Christopher Nolan movie is his brain. But I didn't really have time to use
That's
that
a
joke.
good one.
Thank you.
Kevin Garnett and Uncut Gems.
Oh. Yeah, great opening question, Mom. I do want to ask you, since we have you, we don't usually have Patreons on, why did you choose Princess Bride? Just because it's one of your favorite movies? Did it have anything to do with the special event that we went to last weekend?
Oh, well, actually, I think I chose the movie before the special event.
Yeah, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That's okay. I said, you guys, it's okay. Do your other ones first. I'm all right with that. But
Very generous.
yeah, we went to South Bend to the Morris Performing Arts Center or Morris Theater. I'm not sure what it's called. Beautiful redone theater. And we watched the movie on a big screen, but the screen was on the stage. So it wasn't big screen like you're in a movie theater. So it was a little bit of a distance away. And the acoustics weren't perfect, but since everyone in the theater was a major fan of The Princess Bride, the audience was saying the lines. So if you couldn't hear what was on the screen, then people were chiming in, and it was really a fun atmosphere because, people were applauding and
Yeah, what was the loudest, craziest the crowd went?
Anybody want a peanut, I think?
oh yeah, that was so early on.
Yeah,
I Want My Father Back, I thought got a roaring applause.
that did too.
Yeah.
That was
Oh, the
I thought that
revenge.
really brought the house down.
Have fun storming the castle. That was a pretty big one too.
Oh yeah, I mean it was just sprinkled throughout the whole movie. Yeah, and then afterwards, the person who plays Wesley, Carrie Elwes, I think is how you say his name.
Yep.
Elwes, yeah. He did a little Q&A with, I think it was a reporter.
Yeah,
maybe,
some
from one of
local
the-
reporter.
Yeah. So they had some set questions that he answered, and then I think they had a couple of questions from the audience that were written down on paper. It was a kind of a short Q&A, but it was still interesting to hear his stories about injuries on the set, and he told some stories about Andre the Giant that were hilarious. I wish I could remember them. I can't. But it was just really, it was entertaining. Mm-hmm. It was a fun, different way to watch the movie.
Beloved movie by everyone who is in attendance. Stevie, you were there. Before we get into the plot, why do you think The Princess Bride has been so endearing to people? It didn't do super great at the box office. It kind of caught on in home rentals sales. What is it that draws people to this movie?
I mean, you and I talk about 4-quad movies all the time, right? 4-quadrant movies.
Yeah, can you explain what that means?
So 4-quadrant movie is literally a movie for all ages. And this really is a movie for all ages. And I think it's just a timeless movie too. There's no technology in it. It's a fantasy. It's a romantic, kind of fairy tale. It's a revenge, kind of plot in there as well. It appeals to a lot of people, and the humor is timeless. And it really brought me back in the theater when I was, you'd hear the jokes and just hearing the crowd laugh at those jokes. They've heard a million times, but they're still funny. I think this movie just truly is timeless.
I have the breakdown of the quadrants here. It's just interesting to maybe hear out loud if you guys don't mind really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First quadrant, males under 25. Second quadrant, females under 25. And then, as you might guess, third quadrant, male over 25. Fourth, female over 25. So pretty simple, but
There you go.
that's it.
Jeez.
We're all third and fourth quadrant folk now.
We're dead.
Sad day.
Tough stuff.
No, mostly dead.
Mostly dead.
And there's a big difference.
Josh, I think a big part of this movie that makes it digestible, and I think something that helped this movie go down easy when I was a little kid was your boy,
Fred Savage.
Kevin Arnold. Yeah. Yeah, you want to talk about him a little bit? The rapper around this movie?
Oh, man. I've mentioned this like short film called Dinosaurs. It's like this educational thing with Fred Savage right around this time that came out. And it's interesting because it has a very similar setup. He's like stressed out about school, stuck in his room, and the story kind of happens around him while he narrates, and it kind of kicks back to him and his mom. It's kind of a sarcastic kid that's cynical. I love Fred Savage, and I feel like if I remember the news correctly, he's possibly made some mistakes recently, but
Embattled Fred Savage.
I really liked him growing up. What can I say? And even into Austin Powers' mole character. But anyway, Pappy, yeah, the set is so like over the top simplistic actually for this like bedroom scene with him and his grandpa, isn't it? It's almost like a parody of a grandpa telling a kid a story or something. Are you catching that at all?
Mm-hmm. He's got a sick bedroom.
Yeah, I was gonna say
awesome bedroom.
Most 90s bedroom ever.
80s.
Or 80s bedroom.
I mean, that's when last time the Bears were good.
Anything in the bedroom stand out to you, Mikey, that you like?
He's just got a bunch of posters, lots of cars and stuff, toys all over the place. It looks like how a drawing of like a messy kid's room would be. Like it's very, I don't know, lots of tropes going on in there. Lots of nostalgia tropes.
Can I take this kind of to the end, though, Pap?
Yeah, please. This is spoilers.
Well, I just think that, like, the movie does, like, a pretty genius thing at the end. It's pretty smart and ties it all together. And there's, like, I don't know, this kind of hidden thing about how, like, maybe men don't like to say, like, I love you to each other. And so he, like, uses this whole story for the as you wish line at the end, which transcodes as I love you to his grandson. I don't think it's like that much of a thinker or I'm breaking any new ground by saying this, but that I thought that was pretty powerful, and it's so simple too or something.
And I think this movie could almost be a little cheesy if it didn't have those like cut-ins with Fred Savage, right? Like it would just be a hard setup, right? Like even the way that the story is told, it's this grandpa kind of skipping around in this book telling his grandson his favorite story, right? When he's homesick from work.
I brought you a special present.
What is it?
Open it up.
A book?
That's right. When I was your age, television was called books. And this is a special book. It was the book my father used to read to me when I was sick, and I used to read it to your father. And today, I'm going to read it to you.
Has it got any sports in it?
Are you kidding? Fencing, fighting, torture, revenge, giants, monsters, chases, escapes, true love, miracles.
Doesn't sound too bad.
Brett, let's get into the story. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Wesley and Buttercup and what's going on?
Yeah, I don't have. So she's, I don't know if she's got money or whatever, but she lives on a farm and he's a farm boy. And it's kind of like how children act when they like each other. She's like doing the equivalent of pulling hair or whatever. She just treats him poorly, but like she obviously likes him. It blossoms into love. And he pretty much just says, as you wish.
Nothing gave Buttercup as much pleasure as ordering Wesley around.
Farm boy, polish my horse's saddle. I want to see my face shining in it by morning.
As you wish.
As you wish was all he ever said to me.
Farm boy, fill these with water. Please.
As you wish.
That day, she was amazed to discover that when he was saying, as you wish, what he meant was, I love you.
And then, we don't really know if they get freaky naughty off screen or not, but so he wants to marry her, so he just goes off to make some money so he can come back and provide for her.
As you wish.
We have Nurse Stacy on this pod, Brett. How dare you, sir?
Yeah, I promise you, I won't say the worst things tonight.
Stevie, I don't know if you remember it, but Nurse Stacy was the school nurse at a neighboring school, and she gave us like the sex video talk or something, the growth and development video back in
Great
6th grade.
That was one of the cutest things ever, is to see you boys sitting in the chairs. Drew was front row.
Our changing bodies
Awesome.
by my mom.
Did you learn about more in 7th grade from my mom?
Yeah, actually, a lot of growth and development from mothers from this podcast.
Yeah.
Thank God I didn't have to do that. So
A lot of lore tonight.
Yeah.
It's like
Deep
the whole
spoilers
psychology behind making a podcast is to please your mothers after all, or something.
Sometimes a podcast is just a podcast. Sigmund Freud. Josh, I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Okay.
We meet I think, Mom, this might have been why you asked this question, but 3 of the best side characters, maybe in any movie. They introduce themselves as lost circus performers. Mikey, were there any of the 3 would-be kidnappers that stood out to you, or who was your favorite of these?
Well, one for sure stands out, and that is Andre the Giant. Just a hulking beast of a man, and I think he does a great job. He's a little hard to understand, but that's just how he talks. But he's really funny, and everybody's great in this movie. Mandy Patinkin has probably the best side story quest going on. Mm-hmm. And Vizik is just an all-around creep. What's his name?
Vizzini, yeah.
Vizzini, yeah. He's just an all-around creep. But I was surprised that he died so early. I've only seen this movie about one time, but I don't remember him dying halfway through. So it's a little shocking. Yeah, they're all great. I love all the characters in this.
Vizzini's only in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, not very much at all. Mikey, he's got like giantism out of the giant, so he sounds bad, but he's also got a ridiculously thick French like accent, so it makes it really hard to understand. He's definitely a subtitles guy.
Have you guys ever heard like
French.
lore about Andre the Giant?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He would drink like 150 beers a day or some shit like that.
If he wanted to get drunk, he had to drink a bunch. He drank a bunch of bottles of wine.
Loved his wine.
It's one of the bad things about his back. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to it, but like his back was so bad during this movie, he like literally couldn't lift anything. And one of the problems was he was like hard, if not impossible, to do surgery on because the amount of anesthesia that he would need. I mean, like you had to get it right or it could kill him.
Could kill a bull.
Yeah.
Operation Dumbo.
But he's also apparently like a total sweetheart. People really loved him on set, and yeah, his last decade of life was kind of poor. His back, just because his back hurt so bad.
I think it was probably a year before this, or maybe like the year this came out, was when like he pretty much had to stop wrestling because his back was so bad. And that's like when Hulk Hogan took off. Because Andre was pretty much wrestling. And
if you see him in his 20s, he was a freak athlete.
Yeah. It's just kind of sad. His back was really bad. I mean, like, I wouldn't be shocked if they were like hauling him around on set with like those things you move refrigerators with, honestly.
They said they had to drive like a golf cart of him around.
Yeah.
Just because he just couldn't really walk very well.
We are but poor lost circus performers. Is there a village nearby?
There is nothing nearby. Not for miles.
Then there will be no one to hear you scream.
Can I ask a question about these three side characters? I feel like I've maybe seen the movie the least out of everyone here, and maybe there's something I'm missing. But like, why is Vizzini so evil versus like Andre and Montoya? Like, why is he's so ready to like kill and murder and scheme? I don't know. It's a tough world, but the other guys truly have good hearts. He's ready to poison someone.
Let me take my first opinion. One is he chose this life because he had the means and everything like that, to me. The other two, he makes a point of saying they were desperate. So they took job for money and for work, but they're not bad people. But Vizzini chose this life, so he's probably just a bad dude. And he's arrogant.
And his job is war starter? Just
Dick Cheney.
Just is he working for one side or the other?
John Bolton.
Yeah, he was hired by the king, Humperdinck. Prince Humperdinck.
My mom asked a really good question before we started. Why does Prince Humperdinck want to start a war? Stevie, any Stevie answer? Stevie question to that? To get oil?
This is your land, I think.
It's got to feed the war machine, man.
WMDs and...
I mean, it's a moneymaker, right?
The Florin military-industrial complex.
Gorleon or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, war is profitable. Like,
think about all the blacksmith and armsmen and all that money flowing. It's just economy.
well, I think he wanted to start a war anyway. He just wanted an excuse for it. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
He probably just wanted to get more land, like get more riches and
more power.
Off this buttercup so he can go have his fun with many a maidens.
It's kind of a cool plot point, though, right? That like it's a little bit complex. That he's trying to start a war. He's not trying to save his princess or anything. He's got deeply sinister ideas.
I think until that end scene where he like sits down in the chair and like gives up because he's like not brave. I think before that scene, I would have been convinced that he wanted to start a war because he's kind of like a badass, right? He can hunt people down. He probably wants to like.
That's the comedic part of it, dude. That's
he wants to kill people.
He's like the fucking CSI guy at the beginning of the show, just finding all those clues and drawing conclusions to crazy shit.
He's like Viggo Mortensen in Two Towers when they're chasing down the hobbits. There was a hobbit here.
I love the little music that plays. Like every time he rides off after one of the crime scenes, it's like.
What about when he jumps onto his horse's back?
Dude, I thought about that.
Smashes his nuts.
I was like, oh my god, that had to hurt so bad.
If Andre the Giant did that, he would literally kill a horse.
Snap it in half.
You want some horse meat?
Yeah. Dude, I was wondering when someone would do an impression.
Inigo Montoya, I don't know, Stevie. I was watching this back. I think Manny Patinkin is like maybe the best performance in this whole movie.
He's a great actor in this, isn't he?
He's freaking amazing. And I was listening to him sing too, like just on YouTube. I was listening to him sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. The man's got pipes. Like,
he's a very talented dude. And like, he's kind of on the level, same as like Wesley. These are really like rich characters, but like the amount of like comedy that he has to do, as well as like dramatic, as well as like serious, there's like lightheartedness in there as well. It's like he's asked to do a lot of heavy lifting in this movie, same as Cary Elwes. Like, he's a really good actor,
and is very physical. They're both doing their own stunts, clearly.
Yeah. The sword fight is 100% the two of them. Like, except for when Wesley does that ridiculous like gymnastics flip. But they're like really fighting with their left hand and right hand and stuff. I think it looks great. I think it's an awesome.
It's such an awesome scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's not only awesome because the choreography, but also, like you guys are kind of hinting at, the transformation of Montoya from what you presume to be kind of this like mercenary dick. Like, he has this transformation as our main character is trying to like climb up the side of the cliff, right? I don't know. Their banter there is so good and classic. It might be one of my favorite parts of the movie for me, actually.
From the moment he starts talking to Inigo on the rope to the moment that he kills Vizzini is like 15-minute masterclass in like conflict, but keeping it quirky, dialogue. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable filmmaking.
This is one, like the sword fight too is one part when I was thinking about this in the theaters, like during the fight, I wish they actually had subtitles because they're talking about sword fighting the entire time. And it's actually really funny when you watch it back.
Yeah.
You seem a decent fellow. I hate to kill you. You seem a decent fellow. I hate to die. Begin.
Like the different moves.
The different moves they're talking about and like
all real,
kind of just like anticipating what they're going to be doing. Like it's like the one time I was like, I really wish we had subtitles here.
Dude, and some of the shit they do is like insane. Inigo Montoya like goes between his legs to like parry a couple blows, and then he just throws his sword up in the air and does like a twirly bird and like catches it and stuff. It's just awesome. It's just
It's a classic move. Everybody uses that one.
You're using Bonetti's defense against me, huh?
I thought it fitting, considering the rocky terrain.
Naturally. You must expect me to attack with Capapero.
Naturally, but I find that Tybalt cancels out Capapero. Don't you?
Unless the enemy has a study, he's a glipper. Which I have.
Andre the Giant goes down in a wrestling match, not really holding up Cary Elwes there at all. His back was terribly
you can tell it's not him, kind of like as if you pay attention.
But he's got this
MMA fight. Like we need a Joe Rogan to like go live and commentate this fight.
Whoa! We've never Jessica Andrade! Whoa!
Andre the Giant taps. His innocence does like really show through. They're like, I don't know if that's like him as a person. I don't know if he's like that good of an actor, but he's like the true definition of a gentle giant. He just seems like this big, huge sweetheart guy. But Mom, I want to throw to you the Battle of Wits. Can you tell us a little bit about the Battle of Wits?
Oh, the iocane powder. Oh my goodness. So they have Buttercup, and Vizzini is all set up with 2 goblets, and he has iocane powder, and Wesley, who is still dressed up like the Dread Pirate Roberts, is there on scene too then. And they have this battle of wits back and forth, and the banter is so good. And it turns out that Wesley, can I spoil it?
Yeah, this is spoilers.
Okay. So Wesley has built up a tolerance to iocane powder, so it didn't matter which goblet it was in. But Vizzini didn't know that, and he thought he was tricking Wesley into drinking a poisonous goblet so that Wesley would die, and then Vizzini could continue to kidnap Buttercup. Well, they both drank from their goblets, and Wesley didn't die because there was poison in both, but Wesley was immune to the iocane powder. So that is the scene that Vizzini died. And I tell you, it's just classic. The quotes just from that scene are hilarious. And I think that scene is probably why I picked him as being one of the best side characters in my mind in any of my favorite movies, because he just acts it so well. And yeah, so that's the scene.
Mm-hmm. One of the classic blunders, never get involved in a land war.
It's so good. I mean, this movie is so full of quotes. I watching it back, because I haven't seen it for a couple of years probably, and just watching it back, I was shocked at how many quotes I use all the time. You know, okay, so I'm a nurse, but I do use mostly dead, but not in the clinical setting.
Sorry, your child is mostly dead.
Oh my gosh. No, I wouldn't. But yeah, it's just so many great quotes from this movie.
You guessed wrong.
You only think I guessed wrong. That's what's so funny. I switched glasses when your back was turned. Ha ha, you fool. You fell victim to one of the classic blunders. The most famous is never get involved in a land war in Asia, but only slightly less well known is this: never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line.
Who are you?
I am no one to be trifled with. That is all you ever need know.
To think, all that time it was Shortcut that was poisoned.
They were both poisoned. I spent the last few years building up an immunity to iocane powder.
I have something about this. I think that George Costanza's character, written by Larry David, played by Jason Alexander, stole something from Vizzini 2 years later when they started Seinfeld.
Yes.
I see a lot of that in the rage and in the evilness and the baldness, the shortness. There's a lot there to unpack.
Male pattern baldness, yeah.
But this has
The dialogue reminds me of like Larry David, Seinfeld,
Definitely.
comedic timing dialogue, because it's directed by Rob Reiner, and he's like,
yeah,
I don't know, he's one of those guys that has that ability to make snappy, witty dialogue like that.
the way he's like physically moving around too. He's very physical whenever he's talking. But Nurse Stacy,
Yes.
Stacy, what's the viability of this iocane powder building a tolerance up? Like, could that actually happen? Is there a real life equivalent of this?
I have no idea. I truly have no idea.
I think you can.
But I want to believe that it's true. Yeah, I love it. It's just a great scene in the movie, but I have no idea.
This is a perfect movie without any flaws. But the one thing that's always kind of bothered me is later on Humperdinck smells the iocane powder, which is supposed to be odorless and colorless. He's like, iocane powder, I'd bet my life on it. Like, based on the lack of smell?
Bet my life on it.
I don't get it.
He's that good.
Buttercup realizes that this Dread Pirate Roberts is actually her lover, Wesley, and they go rolling down the hill. It's like one of the best physical comedy bits of the whole movie. Mikey, you're the practical effects guy. I think the set in the fire swamp is freaking amazing. I think it looks great. Were any of the three terrors that stood out to you, any that you particularly liked?
Oh, is it yeah, the set is definitely amazing, but I think one of the three tears that sticks out is the ROUS.
ROUS is, yeah.
Yes.
Rodents of unusual size, which is basically a smaller man in a rat suit.
Oh, yeah.
Wrestling with Wesley, and it's pretty funny, but there's lots of other stuff going on too. There's also flames coming up from the ground, just general spooky forest stuff, creepy crawlies, and it's
quicksand,
yeah.
Can someone explain how they do that?
Like the effect?
How she falls in like that? Is it water? Just, yeah.
I think there was like a trap door involved, but it's really Carrie Elwes like diving into it. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but Rob Reiner was saying on the commentary that's like it was a very dangerous stunt, and like this trap door thing was like right by his head as he's jumping in. But I have no idea. It looks great.
Yeah, he's diving head first.
This looks great. Like when she falls in too, it looks great. It's crazy. I don't know how they do that.
Why did that rat come up and like smell the rope and then like move along? I thought he was going to start gnawing on it and create some tension, but he just moves along.
Yeah.
No one remembers that little beat. Rat just it's so weird. They just want to show the man in the suit a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, apparently those are like time bandits in the suits who are crawling around. I don't know. I think they look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Adios, muchachos.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus that, with the rat sniffing the rope, that fills in some of the time that they're underneath the quicksand.
Yeah.
because otherwise we would just be looking at plain surface quicksand.
Mhm.
So the rat comes along and then wanders off, and then they burst back out.
It's coarse, and it gets everywhere.
Classic Star Wars line. So quotable, just like the Princess Bride.
Have you seen? My mom's giving me a look like she has no idea what I'm talking about. It's okay. It's from a Star Wars. It's not a good one.
Okay.
Stevie, though, can you tell us a little bit about the pit of despair where Wesley's then captured after he leaves the fire swamp?
It has one of like my favorite like jokes of the entire movie. What is that guy's name?
The gruff, the voice in the clearing.
Yeah, so and he starts off like this.
I think they just call him the albino.
Yeah, with the albino,
Yeah,
it's one of my
the albino.
favorite parts of the whole movie is when he wakes him up and he's like, "You're in the pit of despair," and then he does that cough and he goes, "Okay, here's what you actually are." It's a great joke. I mean, that's a fan. I actually really like the set design of this sequence a lot. It's probably my favorite set design, especially with. I mean, you can tell it's a stage or it's in a warehouse, but it's just fun. And it's one of those things where it's shot really chaotically, especially like when Wesley is getting he gets taken to 50 with his like years taken off his life. But it just looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's going on with that? Is he going to die early now?
I always wondered that, but I'm
Good
starting to
question.
think that Mad Max puts the life back in him. That's at least how I like to think of it.
He's going to look like the grandpa like a year from now.
I thought that little coffee bean he ate was just enough caffeine for like one day, basically.
Oh, no. Like he falls off his horse.
He's going to look like Billy Crystal tomorrow.
What disease is
maybe.
50 years? That's like a really bad disease, guys. That's not good.
And we lived happily ever after for the next 12 hours.
You truly love each other, and so you might have been truly happy. Not one couple in a century has that chance, no matter what the storybooks say. And so I think no man in a century will suffer as greatly as you will.
Not to 50!
That scale is so insane and surprising because he's like, we'll start at 1 and maybe we'll get to 5 someday. And I thought it went up to 10 total, but somehow he just shoves it up to 50.
50.
I was shocked.
Pap, are you gonna I feel like we're doing a disservice. I feel like a really underrated person in this movie is Christopher Guest. I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's so dry and he's amazing when he's talking in the pit of despair. And I just feel like if we don't talk about him, I'll be sad.
No, talk the six-fingered man, right? That's who you're talking about.
Mr. Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis's husband.
Really? Like they're still married?
Yeah, they've been
and
married
stuff?
for almost 40 years.
Wow.
That's pretty awesome.
He's like a pretty famous writer. He did like a Spinal Tap and Mighty Wind and all those movies with Eugene Levy.
Best in Show.
Best in Show, yeah. So, he's like a guy in his own right.
Spinal Tap.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't direct that one because I think that was Rob Reiner, but yeah, I think he wrote that. But either way, he's the these go to 11 guy. So
That's why it goes to 50. So another version of going to 11.
they should have made a joke. I mean, it wouldn't have worked, but like it goes from 0 to 11.
Oh, yeah. Like a Spinal Tap joke? Is that what you're saying?
And he'd be like, "Why does it go to 11?" And he goes, "These go to 11." I don't know. It would have.
You know what would have been
weird,
funny,
but-
Brett? If 1 through 10 were just like marked by inch, and then like 25 inches up is where 11 was. So he still has to raise it. That's still
Yes,
same amount.
You're right. That would be really, really funny. He's the six-fingered man. He's I don't know if he's a psychopath, but he's definitely a sadist. So, wait.
He comes in his
sadist.
pants. Sorry.
Whoa, there's Stacy's on the...
Yeah,
she taught us about that in school.
You want me to explain that?
No.
When he turns it up to 50, he's like, whew.
Well, he's the true villain in the movie.
He's the bad guy. He's like the most evil guy.
He's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't know, all of the costumes look great. I love his costumes, though. He's in a lot of yellow and stuff. Apparently, this was the same costume designers like Lawrence of Arabia and Dr. Zhivago did this movie too. So pretty amazing costumes. And also, Britt, since you mentioned Spinal Tap, a little off topic, but I want to bring this up. Is this not like an all-time hot streak for directors that Rob Reiner's on at this point? This run he's on is
Stand By Me in there, right, too?
Wow.
I think it's Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, and A Few Good Men. What a fucking run of movies.
What did he end it with, Pap? What did he end it with?
North.
There we go.
Then he never made a great movie again.
That's a bad one, yeah.
Yeah.
Good heavens. Are you still trying to win? You've got an overdeveloped sense of vengeance. It's going to get you into trouble someday.
One more thing about Christopher Guest, though. He does spare Inigo Montoya when he's a baby or whatever, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if he's a baby.
He said he was 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he leaves the sword, too, for him to keep.
What's up with that, Stevie? That's a great Stevie question.
What's that?
Why'd he spare him for? He's bad. He's the big evil.
Probably doesn't kill kids.
Josh wouldn't have spared him.
No.
Yeah.
When you're old enough one day, come and find me and I'll kill you then. But if not, live with this pain.
Yeah, he didn't kill him, but he scarred him.
Yeah.
He cut both cheeks.
Literally and figuratively.
This is Josh.
Yeah, Josh is like, I don't understand why they wouldn't kill this
Time
kid.
to kill the 11-year-old.
I can't wrap my mind around that.
I almost feel like Count Rugen, he's so evil that he let him live just for the chance that he could do that scene where he'd be like, oh, this is so funny that you tracked me down for so long and I got to kill you anyway. He's that sadistic. I don't know. Maybe
Playing the long game.
Ooh, Rob Reiner has a big movie coming up.
Spinal Tap 2.
Spinal Tap 2.
That's insane.
Everyone's signed on.
I don't know. Do you think it'll be good?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
By the way, I've seen this movie a million times. This is one we grew up with, had the VHS. Do they say the six-fingered man's name in the movie? You said it was Count Rugen or something? I never knew that. Until I was doing research for this pod.
They call him the Count a couple times, don't they?
Yeah.
They say his first name. I think Inigo Montoya definitely says his name when they're getting ready to storm the castle. I'm thinking when he's actually in there. But they definitely say his first name, which is just a weird name for him. But
what's his name?
Tyrone. I think it's Tyrone. Yeah, Count Tyrone Rugen. Only one who calls him that is Humperdinck.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's Tyrone.
What?
Wow. It's rewatch it. He goes, you know how much I love watching
the theater when they said Tyrone.
Your work, Tyrone.
It's a great joke.
That is really funny.
It's a great joke.
I don't know if I caught that. Like we mentioned, Wesley is mostly dead. And to bring him back to life, Inigo and what's his name? Andre the Giant? What's his character's name?
Fezzik.
Fezzik. Take him to Miracle Max. Stevie, I thought Billy Crystal got some of the biggest laughs in the whole movie. Did you? Tell us what Miracle Max. What happens in his shed?
First off, I know this happened in that theater because it happened next to me, but I know it happened theater wide. Is when someone leans over to the person next to them and goes, "That's Billy Crystal." Like,
Yeah.
It never fails. But Miracle Max and I'm guessing his wife, right?
Carol
Kane. Played by Carol Kane. Yeah.
Valerie.
Played by Carol Kane, are on a mission to bring Wesley back to life. Even though he's mostly dead, they're trying to bring him back to life. I'm trying to remember the jokes that Billy Crystal was throwing in there, but I just remember it was really fast and snappy, and it was. Pap, do you remember any quotes he had?
I just remember he says he likes a nice MLT, like mutton, lettuce, and tomato or something.
I think the most underrated joke is one my brother and I used to laugh at is when he goes, "Yeah, like true love is," but he obviously said to blave, which everyone knows is to bluff. I think that's freaking so funny.
Mm-hmm. Just like his accent, like his New York accent that he has, is so silly. Like, have fun storming the castle, classic line.
Liar.
Happening.
That's a miracle pill.
The chocolate coating makes it go down easier, but you have to wait 15 minutes for full potency. And you shouldn't go in swimming after for at least, what?
An hour.
Yeah, an
A
hour.
good hour. Yeah.
Thank you for everything.
Okay.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle. Bye-bye.
After Miracle Max's shed, the boys are now trying to break into the castle. They have a twofold mission. Inigo Montoya wants to kill the man who killed his father, and Wesley wants to save Buttercup. Brett, can you tell us a little bit about their plan to get in the castle and how this goes down here?
Yeah, so, again, one of the brilliant things about this movie is they use tropes and things that are used a lot, but they do them so well and so perfectly. Like, it's almost like a joke where it's like if only we had a resurrection cloak? Something?
Holocaust cloak?
Yeah, Holocaust
I
cloak.
think.
I knew it's a religious word.
Why didn't you list that among our assets in the first place? What I wouldn't give for a Holocaust cloak.
There we cannot help you.
What this do?
How did you get that?
At Miracle Max's. It fits so nice as I could keep it.
All right. Come on, help me out.
So they decide to put Andre the Giant and the big dummy on a wheelbarrow and light him on fire. He acts like he's the Dread Pirate Roberts. And I think another underrated line is like, "Where's the key?" He's like, "I don't know what you mean." He's like, Fezzik tear his arms off. He goes, "Oh, you mean this key?" Yeah, that's But they pretty much just make the 60 people run away, and the only guy who stays is the guy who's, thinks he's like a big shot because he's working so high up for the prince. But yeah, it's a pretty simple plan. Set him on fire, have everybody run, and then
Pretty bold plan to set your big guy on fire.
Yeah.
Is that what the Holocaust cloak does? It's like a fire resistant cloak.
I have no idea. I wondered how Andre the Giant got out.
I'm serious. I'm so confused by that scene. He's on fire. Why doesn't he die?
Can someone Google Holocaust cloak?
What does that term mean? I don't even know what is that?
Who knows?
Just for the movie. It doesn't matter. It's a magic cloak. Miracle Max has a flame resistant cloak. While this is happening outside though, Mom, I think one of the lines you said the most growing up is happening inside the palace. What's happening? And can you do your impression of
Of the clergyman?
Yeah.
Okay, so inside the castle, Buttercup is getting married to Prince Humperdinck. Of course, she thinks Wesley is going to come in and rescue her any minute. And she's not willingly getting married. She's just standing there in the ceremony waiting for Wesley. But when the clergyman opens his mouth and starts talking, it's hilarious. Because you wouldn't expect his voice to sound like what it sounds like.
There's this huge build-up just showing him, like the camera moves in slowly, the music gets all dramatic, and then he says,
marriage, and then it just goes from there.
Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today. Marriage, that blessed arrangement, that dream within a dream.
Yeah, that's another quotable thing too, where people always say marriage just like that.
True love.
Yes, true love.
What brings us here today?
A dweem within a dweem. Josh, I thought you might like this part. Like, you said you haven't seen this movie. How many times have you seen this movie, do you think?
I think this is probably my second or third time, like all the way through.
My mom disapproves.
No, I gasped.
So do I.
I've seen like all the parts separately so many times. It's like hard to like fathom, but like truly, like seeing the movie all the way through is. I think it's the second time. So yeah, what's your question, Pap?
Play for your daughters.
That's a good point.
I'm not even allowed to show them the new Barbie movie yet.
It's a 4-quadrant movie, Josh. It's for everyone in the family.
It's PG-13. They're not 13
It's
yet.
PG. It's 80s PG.
PG is
That
in
means
there,
it's basically
dude. Can't be
R
that
today.
bad.
Dude, PG-13 means ScarJo can go nude. That's not PG-13 of the 90s.
I don't think it's actually ScarJo going nude, though.
She said it was. They interviewed her about it.
It's probably a prosthetic.
Anyway, my question was, Josh. I've seen this movie like 100 times, and I've always I'm always surprised by how rousing Inigo Montoya's vengeance is. It's almost like Helm's Deep level of me getting like excited. Can you just take us through his vengeance and his very quotable line?
You really did it best, Pap, at the top of the pod. What is the exact line? I know you have it written.
He doesn't know it.
Hello, my name is Pappy Montoya. I'm here with my mother. Prepare to spoil.
There's like,
Didn't you listen?
if you've watched like WWF, which has now become WWE recently, right? Wasn't that just a couple of years ago?
No, over 20.
I know. If you watch any WWE, I think this plays a lot of the classic beats. Montoya has like his signature moves. He has some skills he's good at. He has a motto. And just when you think he's all the way dead and down, he's been stabbed in the stomach and in both arms.
That's such a good point, Josh.
There's no crowd, but he starts a rallying cry of his own. And it's this one line he's been saying, but now he's going to use it to like gain energy and power and more platelet. Also more platelets in his blood to stave the severe blood loss caused by the stomach wound in particular.
His tummy wound is scabbing over.
Yes.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Hello! My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Stop saying that!
I don't know, Pappy, what do you think? As he starts to chant this and really get into the fight, is this like one of your favorite parts of the movie?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's like I said, dude, Mandy Patinkin is so fucking amazing in this role. Like, he really is. And he's got this energy like behind his eyes, you know? It's so hard to explain like on a podcast, but he just, the way he looks at the six-fingered man is that he starts to get more and more pumped and like starts to gain the upper hand in this fight. And then even like toys with him a little bit at the end. Like, I don't know, just him shouting that line like louder and louder every time. It gets me going. I love it, Stevie.
Also,
Stevie, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Brett. No, go ahead, Brett. Sorry.
Go ahead, Brett.
It's really cool, like I don't know, what would you call it, parallelism, whatever, of he gives Tyrone all the same wounds that he gave him. So he gives him the 2 slices on the face, he stabs him in the left shoulder, the right arm, and then finally in the stomach, which is exactly the 5 things that Tyrone gave him. I think that's really cool. It's done pretty subtly, in my opinion, as well. So,
and then he gets him. He gets him to offer him everything that he has.
Oh yeah, I love that.
And still refuses it and asks for his father back.
Oh, such
That's
a good
kind
one.
of
That's that goosebumps.
Definitely a theme in this movie is that like tit for tat aspect, Brett. Because if you remember that scene, the section of the movie that you said is like a masterpiece or whatever, like, Wesley doesn't kill Montoya because he shows him class, he helps him up, he gives him time to recover, gives him a sporting chance,
and he wants him to be able to fulfill his thing too.
Yeah, because he has like a noble cause, and then he doesn't kill Andre the Giant because when he throws that first boulder, he's like, I could have smashed your brains in. Yeah. And so he could have choked him out to the death, but instead he doesn't. And with Vicini was so ready to just poison his ass.
Oh,
so he just kills. I'm understanding that more.
That's a good point. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, they're noble. That's like kind of what we were saying earlier. Like, why are they so likable and Vicini's such a scumbag? And you kind of just pointed out there that the 2 guys are not bad people. They believe in rules and fairness, and Vicini, I mean, yeah, he'd do anything just to win,
just to keep a parking place in New York City.
Yeah. Nice.
What do you want? Go around me. I'm looking for spaces.
Oh, George, there's a space right there.
Oh, beautiful. Look at that, the dream space right in front of Jerry's building, huh? Yeah, dreams can come true. What did I tell you?
One thing that I think is really impactful with the Inigo Montoya scene, I want my father back, you son of a bitch part, is it's so well placed because there's little to zero cussing in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And like the emphasis of that makes it stand out so well. And you also get a groundswell of score behind it, like once Tyrone is dead. It's fantastic. Like it's honestly one of those. I think it's why I brought the house down and went to see it. At the theater, it's like, he's getting his revenge, but the way it happens, because there's so little cussing in this movie, it just kind of caps it off really nicely.
Yeah, I remember being like a little kid and be like, oh, like when he says that. Yeah,
guys, though, any little bitty part of you thinks he should have spared him.
No.
Not one iota.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Nurse Stacy said no.
That's
Josh
it.
was so ready to kill the 11-year-old Inigo Montoya, but was going to spare Count Rugen.
Josh's next pod.
God.
Was Tyrone really that bad?
Yeah, Tyrone did nothing wrong.
Wasn't his fault he was born with 6 fingers? A lot to overcome in a lifetime.
There's like a really small line too, because while this is happening, Wesley's in Buttercup's bedchambers. Prince Humperdinck comes in, and you guys are talking about like sort of like parallelism in the script, or just like things kind of falling back on themselves, or just things being like repeated. Prince Humperdinque goes, "I think you're bluffing," and Wesley goes, "It's conceivable." And it's just like so funny because Vincini's been yelling "inconceivable" for like the first 30 minutes of the movie. Just really clever, but. Mikey, can you just take us out here what happens at the end of The Princess Bride, the story within the story?
Yeah, so the Wesley and the princess, they live happily ever after. But we go back out to Fred Savage and his grandpa, and Fred Savage has been kind of... at the beginning, he did not want anything to do with the story, and then he's just got... his curiosity kind of overtook his pride in the book. He was more interested in how it was going to end as his grandpa read farther and farther along, and he'd interrupt him, and the grandpa would be like, can I finish the fucking story here? Like, do you want me to stop, or are you good? Can I keep going? And so he was just kind of messing with him, and then he finishes the story, and Fred Savage, he asks if Grandpa can come back over and read it to him again the next day, and his grandpa leaves saying "as you wish," which Josh alluded to in the beginning, that it's his grandpa's way of saying "I love you," which is, when I heard it, I was like, oh man, that is such an amazing final line to end this whole movie, because the beginning of the movie doesn't start exactly with that line, but it's so far in the beginning that, again, it's like another parallelism inside the movie. It's also super sweet. So
Josh is pretty disappointed that the grandpa didn't strangle the kid.
Can you believe the grandpa spared the sickly boy?
Also, like, Fred Savage literally yells the first page. So when's it gonna get good? He's literally on the first page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is so sweet to think of the grandpa's love for little Fred Savage being like as pure as like the love, like the true love or whatever. And you get the sense that like he would do anything for little Fred Savage. And it's not even out of like horniness or anything like that. It's just actually out of true love.
Yeah.
No, I think
no,
that,
it's just a grandson. I get what you're saying.
When like a healthy young couple is in love, there's always that cynicism.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I guess they're in love, but they really just kind of want to have sex, like, and bang.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Anyway, sorry, that got really awkward.
Yeah, that's normal.
No.
I see what you're saying. They're a family, but I don't know. Just like, speaking of awkward, it's just the way like Peter Falk leaves the room. Like, I don't know why it makes me laugh, but he just kind of like, oh, okay, all right, and he just kind of looks around and goes, so long. He's walking out. Like, I don't know. It's just really funny. He's just like a really believable.
Talked
grandpa.
about Peter Falk enough. Like, he's awesome in this movie too.
Columbo himself.
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to turn around and solve a case.
Yeah.
But
Josh, I have
like
a question for you. Who's the best Savage? Ben or Fred?
Well, is Ben running for some sort of like representative?
Fred's a lot more talented, I'll tell you that right now.
But who has the better hair?
Oh man, Boy Meets World was pretty solid.
Right, I'm not saying that, but I think Fred's a better actor. He does writing and directing, and like Josh said, he's running for something.
President?
No.
Senate?
Ben Savage is running for Congress because,
Let's
quote,
go.
it's time to restore faith in the government by offering reasonable, innovative, and compassionate solutions.
Oh my God, he's reading off the donation card.
I don't well, it's just the first thing that popped up on Google. I literally don't even know if he's like red or blue or whatever. It's just he's running for something.
I
It's
like Ben
interesting.
more, by the way, Stevie. I like Ben more. I'm just saying, I think
Why would you?
Fred's
I
more
already
talented.
said I love Fred Savage. He's my boy, but he's made mistakes. So
Yeah.
He's the one that should be running for office.
Yeah.
Well, in the beginning, Fred Savage is just like so grossed out about the concept of even Wesley and the princess saying "I love you" to, or not even saying "I love you," but like just being interested in each other. And he was like, "Is this going to be a kissing book?" And then
He gets
by the
pretty
end,
horny by the end, yeah.
yeah, and then by the end of
There's a lot of smut in here, kid.
What's his famous catchphrase? What's his catchphrase? What is it?
Columbo.
He's got a catchphrase, I thought, from a show.
Just one more thing.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I think it's interesting too. I think you can draw a parallel at the beginning of their relationship between Buttercup and Wesley. They don't really express their feelings to each other at all.
Right.
Well, the child and Grandpa don't express feelings to each other either.
Oh.
More rhyming.
And
yeah,
so it's that. I think that's similar how their relationships are.
You gotta wonder just how huge little tiny cute-cheeked Fred Savage sitting there looking up at his grandpa saying, well, maybe you could come back tomorrow and read the book again. Like, that's so big for the grandpa. He's been waiting
definitely
68 years for that shit. That's as emotional as Mikey gets, everyone.
Yeah. Mikey expresses himself through the soundboard. That's the equivalent of As You Wish. Any final thoughts, boys? I think we're here in final thoughts. Anything we missed? Anything else, Mom, you wanted to bring up? Anyone?
Well, is there anything else in your live show that you saw, like any little tidbits that maybe like sprang to the surface while we had this conversation? I'd love to know, like Andre the Giant story, obviously. I don't know.
I remember, so one of the stories that Cary Elwes told was that Andre the Giant had like an ATV that he brought to set, and he was like daring him to ride it, like egging him on, and like Cary Elwes ended up like breaking his toe riding this thing. And it was like on the third day of shooting, and he was just like terrified.
Yeah, it broke it, and you can see apparently in the movie when he sits down, he has to have like his leg completely out, and he limps at one point too.
Mm. And the way the story went, thanks for the reminder, Drew, is that Cary Elwes was terrified that Rob Reiner would find out. He thought he'd get fired from the movie, and you're not supposed to do things that could get yourself hurt. And so when he finally was face to face with Rob Reiner, and Cary was pretending everything was okay even though his foot was on fire, Rob Reiner actually knew about it because he said it was all over the walkie-talkies. He knew about it as soon as it happened. So he was kept in the movie.
They had to call in their set nurse to help him.
Yeah, what would you do for said toe injury, Nurse Stacy?
Yeah, good question.
What do you do for that, something like that? It's like when Aragorn kicked the helmet, right? How do you treat this?
It depends on how deformed it is.
Ooh.
If it's not too deformed, you can just splint it and buddy tape it to the next toe and let it do its healing. If it's like really crooked and going in different directions, then it needs a little more intervention.
Now that can't be a medical term that you actually use, right? You have a kid come into your office and you hold up an x-ray and got a pretty deformed, fucked up toe in your kid. Is that what you tell
pretty funky there, kid.
Like, oh, we might call your mom.
So is this like a one-off for Cary Elwes, like him going around watching this movie, or does he do this pretty often? Is this like a traveling thing?
He wrote a book about it. I mean, like, I think he talks about it and stuff. He does a lot of interviews, and they just did the reunion. I don't remember when, but some recently. Most of the people are happy about, like, Wallace Shawn, I believe, was famously, like, not pumped when people came up and knew him from the movie. It's not like he wasn't proud, but he, like, got annoyed by it. But I think he came around.
An actor of the highest order.
Couple of different movie clubs here. Chris Sarandon, definitely 3 movie club.
Yeah, I could hear Jack Skellington in a few lines he was saying. It was kind of cool to hear that.
Plus, Child's Play. Chucky, he's a cop.
Mm-hmm.
Vicini is Rex in Toy Story. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got a pretty...
he also did a movie called My Dinner with Andre the
which
Giant.
is like a really famous movie. It's like a bottle episode. It's like just takes place in the restaurant. I've been wanting to watch it, so.
Does he kill him with one punch at the end?
It's not a kid. It's a grown-up. I don't know. I know he's terrible.
Obsessed with child death. Wait, what?
All right, Jafar. We know Jafar.
Just one more thing, kid. I'm gonna shoot you.
Wanted to kill the kid and scare the
This is the ending that Josh
you
wanted.
guys. Hey, I got a final thought I can throw in there.
Yes.
I hope they never remake this movie.
Good
because
Ooh, that's a tall
Good
ask.
take.
yeah,
Wait, but John
I
Cena
think-
could play Andre the Giant's character. John Cena.
Oh, that'd be horrible.
The Rock is Vicini.
I think every person is
God.
cast
Vin Diesel.
perfectly in this movie, and I just think if they tried to remake this, it would be hideous. So I hope they never try it.
We all know who would be Wesley. It'd be Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, fuck.
Wispy lad.
So wispy.
I just got a dirty
You guys
look
got
from my
any
wife.
other recasting ideas? If they're gonna do this now.
Mandy Patinkin as Inigo Montoya.
I don't have friends, and I don't have a father anymore.
Pedro Pascal should be Montoya.
Pedro, he does everything.
Just don't do it. It's the worst idea.
I did read somewhere that they were maybe going to do a table reading, kind of like the Friends cast did, and where they all sat around a table and read the script again. That would be, I think, entertaining, although many of the people have probably passed. Brett, that's right up your alley.
Good point.
Who's dead? Who's mostly dead?
Oh yeah, so Andre the Giant's dead. The old people are dead, like the king, I'm sure. But everyone else is probably alive.
Anybody kill themselves?
Ooh.
This has just come to you assuming people are dead. We need the facts.
Yeah, what?
What the hell?
Listen, the old ones are dead.
Brett, you always had these lined up.
Andre the Giant's dead. Peter Falk is dead. Peter Cook.
Carol Kane still alive?
She's alive. The guy who says marriage is dead. The albino's dead.
Man.
The albino's dead, guys. I'm sorry.
Aww.
Queen's long dead. Sadly,
Yeah,
sadly, the ancient booer is dead, and that actually scared me as a kid. That scene, the boo.
Oh, I still do that. Boo! Boo! Yeah, I still do that.
Yeah.
The king is long dead.
One of your favorites.
I mean, lots of dead people, guys.
Ooh, Nurse Stacy. Recasting. What if they did a new Princess Bride, but it was the Big Show instead of Andre?
I was thinking the same thing, Josh.
It's
Does she
even
know
worse.
who the Big Show is?
No,
it's
what's
so
the Big Show? What are you talking about?
He's just
He's a big giant guy.
Yeah.
I wrestled. He can barely walk now. His name's Paul White.
Oh, it's a person. Oh.
It would be so sacrilegious if they redid it. Mostly because no one can replace the Fred Savage role in my eyes. That's why I say this.
Yeah, that's.
Well,
What if it was
Billy-
Fred Savage, though? Kind of like in a Clifford type situation.
Don't rope me in like that. Why you got to do that to me?
The one child Josh doesn't want to kill. Tiny Fred.
Billy Crystal wouldn't need any makeup.
Yeah, you could do it.
Hey now. Whoa.
Hey now.
Hey now.
All right, I think we're probably good on final thoughts. See if I had anything else. Yeah, the only other thing that I had was like one of our friends, Cinestudy. I think one of his magnum opus podcasts. It's like the 3-hour podcast he did on Princess Bride. I've listened to it in the past. I didn't want to re-listen to it right before because I didn't want to steal anything that he said. But check out the Cinestudy pod if you're looking just for more Princess Bride content. But
Great shout out.
without further ado, let's get into yes or no. I have it written down in the order that we'll play the trivia game, in which my mom will be a participant. But we'll start with Stevie, who was at the live showing that we went to. Princess Bride, yes or no?
Pap, is this considered a cult classic?
I would just call it a classic. I don't know.
I don't know. You said box office. It didn't do well, and it makes me think.
Yeah,
of
it didn't.
So, how do I put this?
You make me nervous.
This movie is a bona fide classic. This is like one of the hardest of yeses I can give. It's a perfect runtime. It's perfectly acted. The jokes still land. The screenplay is awesome. The set design is amazing. The direction's awesome. I have nothing negative to say about this movie whatsoever. But this movie also makes me incredibly sad because I just feel like we're in an age right now where things are made and things are forgotten to never be brought back again. Especially when you have movies coming to theaters and 2 weeks later when they hit digital so quickly. It's really deflating, stuff like that. But yeah, I just think this movie is so timeless. And I'll probably watch this movie again in another 6 months. You know, my wife and I both love this movie. Going to the theater to watch this and just hear the crowd, you know, say the lines with the movie and everybody just being so excited and really just having good camaraderie in the crowd. That was really neat. And with this movie being, you know, what is it now, 35 years old, 36 years old, it's just really neat to see how this movie's lasted the test of time. So hardest of yeses. This is definitely in my top 100 films of all time, so really happy I got to spoil it. And thank you, Nurse, for coming on the podcast and also picking this movie.
Oh, thanks for letting me be on.
Well, Pappy made us.
Yeah, one of the things I love about the...
Yeah, that's
joking.
One of the things I loved about the crowd, dude, the credits are really good in this movie, and it shows like the actor when it shows the credits, like their name. Yeah. I fucking love that. Like that's so much better, and like the people are just going crazy like for Predator? Every name. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
nice
90s,
touch.
like 90s
nice
Nickelodeon.
touch.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it classy?
Exactly like that.
Is it a classy cinema touch? Is it pure Kino? I'm not sure.
I wish they bring back the blooper outtakes at the end of movies. Those are always fun.
Yeah.
Rush Hour 2, baby.
Rush Hour 2.
Yeah. Never get better than
that. It's Kathy Carter?
Brett, your yes or no?
All right, so I have a few things to say. One, I think it's a crime that, and I hope they redo this list, but that My Name is Inigo Montoya quote is not in AFI's top 100. It's way better than a lot of those quotes. A lot of them were like really out. I mean, you can't tell me it's not 100 times better than Bonnie and Clyde, We Rob Banks. That's just dumb.
We Rob Banks?
God.
It's literally, it's in the AFI top 100. We Rob Banks.
I would never guess I would.
And they don't even rob banks. They're terrible. Anyway, I don't know if I've been on record here, but I've been on record saying before that I think it's the best script of the 80s. And I don't mean that hyperbolically at all. I think it's written by like an absolute legend, William Goldman. He wrote the book, but he literally did write the book.
Wasn't Ghostbusters in the 80s?
Yeah, that's a lot of ad-libbing, though. That's why I don't say that. But
that's your jam. That's your first spoiler.
What? Hey, can I finish? My brother got that joke I just made. That's for you, Brian. The true super fan of spoilers. So yes, this is in my top 10 favorite movies. It's I've seen it dozens and dozens of times. I think it's a perfect movie. Like Pappy said that a few times. I agree with that 100%. Just the dialogue is incredible. We talked about it all. The performances are awesome. It's as hard as a yes I can give. I think that's about it. Someone mentioned it, but Mark Knopfler, the score is really funny and really good. He's a great musician, so it's not that surprising, but love it. It's like Stevie said, it's timeless. The jokes still hit. It's a delight. It's awesome.
Quick note on the screenplay that I forgot to bring up. Yeah, you said William Goldman wrote Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid too. This was like considered the greatest screenplay that was never made into a movie for like 20 years and was like floating around, and like a bunch of random people had the rights. Like Robert Redford had the rights to it for like 10 years.
He does not get along with William Goldman.
And boys.
He's dead, but you know what I mean.
Francois Truffaut had the rights. So this could have been a sequel to the Breathless podcast. We could have had him direct The Princess Bride. But Mikey, you were on the Breathless podcast. What say you for Princess Bride?
Yeah, I don't know if Nurse Malcolm is aware, but sometimes we rate things on Viggo Mortensen's girth and hardness of his wiener. So this is a rock hard.
She knows.
I've heard that. Yes.
It's pronounced.
This is like got to be one of the hardest yeses I think I can give a movie that we've done. Just so funny, so timeless, great physical comedy, choreography with the sword fighting, set design, everything that we've mentioned. Just so amazing for the time, and even still today. There's like no CGI at all in this thing, and it's just refreshing to see something that's real on screen every once in a while. I know that sounds like a very low bar, but it's really not. It's much harder to do things that way. And this movie, I mean, every line, like as soon as the movie starts to the very last line in the movie, is just so well thought out, funny, heartwarming. Anything you want from this movie, you can get, because it's a 4-quadrant movie. It's appealing to everybody. I don't know how else to say it, but it's just such a great movie. Yeah, I think I'll buy this movie on an actual disc, because I do want to watch it again and see special features and stuff, because I've only seen it 2 or 3 times now, but I definitely want to watch it more often. It's a very great movie.
It is on Disney, by the way, for free.
But it's also on Criterion, and it's literally my favorite Criterion case I've ever seen. It's freaking amazing. It's so cool looking. Got a cool book on the inside. Yeah, it's nice. I recommend it. Josh.
Hi, Josh from Goshen. This is a huge yes, obviously. You can't really watch this movie without getting like charmed into it and just following along. Probably if you've watched it 2 times like me all the way through, or if you've watched it 100 times, doesn't really matter. Like Pappy has done, and like Mikey will do in the future, it sounds like. But I wanted to I feel like we didn't talk about Robin Wright quite enough. So for my yes or no, like, first of all, she's beautiful in this movie. She does a really good job of acting all throughout it. But I think what I noticed was like Robin Wright, while she's been a beautiful woman her whole career, she has this like other side to a lot of her characters. This like suicidal dark streak comes out here in this movie.
Jenny.
Where yes, Jenny does that. You get a lot of that in what's the, not Game of Thrones, but the Kevin Spacey House of Cards. Yes. I don't know, that's just kind of like a stereotype or something. Like, it's her thing, right? Like a beautiful woman that's smart and elegant and heroic, but also like is prepared to kill herself. I don't know what that means, but Robin Wright, tip of the hat to you. Thanks for our listeners, and biggest thanks to Nurse Stacy. Can't believe you're on the pod tonight. It's actually pretty surreal.
Aw.
It's awesome. I hope the listeners love it as much as me. Like the Pappy lore you let leak like in the first 5 minutes of the movie or of the podcast, I mean, so delicious. I love it. Thanks.
People are going to be like, Drew, who's Drew?
Yeah, she said Drew during this podcast at one point too.
No, I'm named after Pappy O'Daniel, her favorite character in her favorite movie.
What is Pappy short for? Apathy? Pepperoni?
Pappopoulos, yeah. Speaking of Pappy, I'll go next.
Now this did happen once upon a time when things were not so complex, and how he worshipped the ground she walked, and when he looked in her eyes he became obsessed. My love is like a storybook story, but it's as real as the feeling.
Yeah, hard yes, but yeah, just mostly thank you for being such a good mom. I love you.
Oh, gosh.
Thanks for supporting me. You're the best. Thanks for coming on the podcast and taking me to the library to rent Princess Bride when we were growing up. So
the Mormon
hard
version?
yes. And a big hug for my mom.
Aw,
Thank you.
you, bud.
All right, you're up.
Oh, you guys are so sweet. Yes, definitely a hard yes for me too. Like I said, I have a list of 2 favorite movies, and this is one of them. So I know this isn't the type of movie that you guys typically spoil. So it just extra warms my heart that you were willing to do this for me, because it's so fun to hear people enjoy something as much as I do. So thank you so much, everyone. And I can't believe I'm actually a podcaster, even though it's just a one-time, one and done. But thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, thank you, Mom. And if you've
You only
listened...
need to do it once to not be a virgin. So,
Thanks.
Gosh.
Thanks, Brett.
Here we go.
Brittany just gave me the WTF look.
Why the hell didn't Pappy say "as you wish" right there? You fucking blew it, you loser.
Oh, yeah. As you wish.
Aww.
Too late.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
terrible. Can we re-edit the ending? I don't know. Just say "as you wish"
It's
now.
gonna be like a really crappy edit of just me saying "as you wish."
As you wish.
And my answer now.
Yes.
But Mom, if you've listened to this every episode of Spoilers for the last 5 years, you've probably heard quite a bit of trivia. Would you like to play some trivia with the boys tonight?
I'd love to. Yeah.
Okay.
Do I need to turn around or?
No, I have it on my phone.
Okay, I won't look. I
should
can
be
take my
okay.
glasses off. There's no way I'll see anything.
Yeah, you don't need to do that, but
Oh,
okay. So the game tonight, I didn't have a good name for it. Grimm Brothers Falsy Tales. I couldn't think of a name, but it's multiple choice.
Ooh.
3 of these are the titles of actual Grimm Brother fairy tales. 1 of these I made up.
Yes.
From my own brain. 2 strikes, you're out. The order will be Stevie, Brett, Mikey, Josh, Mom. The winner gets a hot take and gets to toss it to Spoiler Man. Stevie, do you understand the game? You ready to go?
Explain it one more time.
So, there's 4 choices.
Okay.
3 of them are actual titles of Grimm Brother fairy tales. 1 of them I made up. You have to pick Are you ready?
Is one of the titles "Is You Is" or "Is You Ain't My Constituents"?
I can't. I can't tell you.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Question 1. Which one of these is not real? The Glimmering Grotto and the Dancing Fireflies. The Turnip. The Fox and the Cat. Or Cinderella. Which one of those did I make up? I can reread any of those if you want.
Just because you one time told our 6th grade teacher I was born on a turnip farm in Mexico, I'll say the turnip.
I don't think I said that.
More Pappy lore.
But sorry, no, the turnip is an actual Grimm Brothers fairy tale. I made up the Glimmering Grotto and the Dancing Fireflies.
The grotto, I should have known.
It came from my brain. Brett, are you ready?
Yeah.
It's 1 strike for Stevie. Okay, which one of these is not real? The Blue Light, Snow White, The Frozen Flame and the Queen's Spell, or The Raven?
I'll say the Raven.
Ooh, sorry, Brett. That's a strike. The Frozen Flame and the Ice Queen Spell. I made that up.
Yeah, it does sound made up by you and not the Grimm brothers.
All right, Mikey, are you ready?
Yes.
Nicest way possible.
I would like to say that I did randomize these questions. There was no favoritism shown. But
Yeah, we know. We've seen your favoritism.
Mikey, which one of these is not a Grimm Brothers fairy tale? Iron John, Rapunzel, The Singing Bone, or The Boy with the Greasy Hands?
Wow.
The boy with the Papa John hands.
I think I'm going to go with The Boy with the Greasy Hands.
Correct.
It's also known as Pap Grease.
I made that up, believe it or not.
He's been selling it to
A fairy
Papa
tale
John
for the
since birth.
ages. Yeah.
I feel like that's your mom's
4-quadrant fairy
favorite
tale.
gag on the podcast. It's never really made sense, but whatever.
Josh.
Yes.
Which one of these does not make sense as an actual fairy tale? The Salad, Hansel and Gretel, An Old Man from Berlin, or Tom Thumb?
I don't know if salads were even around back then, Pat. I'm going to go with the salad. The big salad?
I'm sorry, that's an actual Grimm Brothers fairy tale.
These guys are not very good at titles.
An Old Man from Berlin was made up by me.
Toss salad.
Okay, Mikey. Sorry, Mom. To close out round 1. The Whiskered Wizard and the Talking Teapot, Little Red Riding Hood, The Brother and Sister, The Poor Man and the Rich Man.
I'm going to say brother and sister.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mom. That's
First
a
one.
strike. I'm impressed.
Boo! Boo! Okay.
I'm impressed. The Whiskered Wizard and the Talking Teapot was not real.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounded so good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You helped me learn how to write and read.
Well, I hope that's not true because he is borderline illiterate. I'm sorry. I'll point out he's an extremely smart person, just not at language arts.
Just
doesn't
reading
care.
words out loud isn't my strongest.
Just reading words left to right, top to bottom.
He literally got busted out by an illiterate kid once.
And holding on to the book because I have greasy hands. But Stevie, The Golden Hooves and the Enchanted Cow, The Jew Among Thorns,
Oh no.
Rumpelstiltskin, or The Ear of Corn?
Why is it always food?
To stay in the game. Golden Hooves and Enchanted Cow, Jew Amongst Thorns, Rumpelstiltskin, or The Ear of Corn?
The what amongst thorns?
The Jew Amongst Thorns.
Like Jewish person?
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
Hard J.
Yeah. The JOO amongst thorns. I'm gonna go with the first one with the golden hooves.
That's correct. Yeah,
Thank you.
I made that up. Brett, to stay in the game. Donkey Cabbages, The Frog Prince, The Stinky Clock, The Goose Girl at the Well.
Were these guys illiterate? Whoa, what are these names?
Can
Pulling
you
words
repeat
out of a hat at
for
this
me?
point.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
don't make
yeah.
any sense.
Donkey Cabbages, The Frog Prince, The Stinky Clock, The Goose Girl at the Well.
I'll say the last one.
I'm sorry, Brett, you've been eliminated. The Stinky Clock I made up. Not a real fairy tale. Mikey, you have no strikes.
Pungent time turner.
The 12 Dancing Princesses, Gambling Hansel, Hans in Luck, The Golden Trail, and The Slippery Lad.
Gambling Hansel.
I'm sorry, I made up The Golden Trail and The Slippery Lad.
Slipped on grease, probably.
Josh to stay in the game. Hans Married, The Pied Piper of Hamelin, The Pink, The Wings of Whiskers, The Flying Feline's Tale.
That one. I'm seeing a pattern.
Yeah,
here.
you're right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the pattern was there until mine.
If there's way too
Again,
many
these are-
words, I'm realizing the Grimm brothers are pretty succinct in their telling stories.
Yeah.
Look
And
out
then I
for
got the
this.
stinky clock, though.
The bad egg.
What's for lunch?
I like how Pep's order is always like, the watermelon, the boy who slipped down a waterfall of grease.
The color blue, or the man with the greasiest hands in the world.
The German greasy boy who slipped on a golden trail. I'm proud of you guys for context clues. You guys are very smart. Mom.
Yeah.
Okay. The Bremen Town Musicians, The Young Giant, The Peasant Prodigy's Tale, or The Death of Little Hen. To stay in the game.
Could you read those one more time, please?
Yeah. The Bremen Town Musicians, The Young Giant, The Peasant Prodigy's Tale, The Death of Little Hen.
Or The Stinky Clock.
The Death of Little Hen.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
Bremer's.
It was The Peasant Prodigy's Tale. But, well, good job. You didn't have a hot take anyway, you
That's
said.
true.
So.
I didn't.
Okay. Stevie, Mikey, Brett. First one to miss loses. And
I'm out.
Wait, didn't I get?
Sorry,
I got
Stevie,
mine.
Mikey, Josh.
Yeah.
Stevie, Mikey, Josh. Okay, Stevie. Blue Light, The Fisherman and His Wife, The Girl Without Hands.
Why are you laughing?
The Grouchy The Grouchy Princess and the Sparkling Smile.
The Papa John Prince.
And the garlic butter of gold.
Do you need me to repeat those?
That may be wrong, but the way you read it's too funny, so I'm just gonna say the last one.
Yeah. She's got a sparkling smile. Why is she so grouchy?
Oh my god.
All right, Mikey. The Elves and the Shoemaker, The Peasant in Heaven, Albie the Racist Dragon, or The Devil's Scotchy Brother.
What was that first one?
The Elves and the Shoemaker.
I'll say The Elves and the Shoemaker.
No, sorry, Albie the Racist Dragon. It was
Yeah, I
a
don't
Flight of the
think
Conchords song.
Racist was even a word back then.
There's no such thing as racism back then.
That's not true at all.
What I said.
Well, the word didn't exist, so it couldn't have possibly
It's
existed.
not what I said or what I meant.
Yeah. Josh, to stay in the game.
Yeah, I need you to go slowly through these, okay?
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Sweet Porridge.
I think that's right.
The
yeah.
Goose.
Yep.
The Goose Girl.
Okay.
The Red Rose of Egypt.
Interesting.
Stories about snakes.
I'll go for number 3.
The Red Rose of Egypt?
Yeah.
That's correct.
The red rose of Cairo. Purple rose of Cairo.
Yeah. I thought stories about snakes would get you for sure. Okay, Stevie. The Talking Shoe. The Godfather. The Juniper Tree. Godfather Death.
Why you gotta do that? I used to
These
think
Grimm
like Godfather
brothers.
and Godfather Death are like a sequel.
Yes, name of my new metal band.
Read through them again.
The Talking Shoe. The Godfather. The Juniper Tree. Godfather Death.
Take the gun, leave the stinky clock.
You know what? What year was Grimm around? Were Grimm brothers around?
like 19th century, early 19th century.
You know, I know. I must say the talking shoe.
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank God.
Shoes can't talk.
Well, they can. It's just got glue them back.
Amazing that you didn't pick one of the Godfather answers.
Well, that's what was going to trip me up because it makes me think there's a sequel.
They were born in 1785 and 1786.
When did Left and Right Shoes come out?
What the hell?
I don't know.
Jamie, look that up.
When did they come out?
When Left and Right Feet came out.
When did they stop going fakey for all shoes?
Josh.
1817 was the first pair of left and right shoes.
Wow.
Yep. They were alive for both. They were both alive.
Hey, nice and slow here. I want to give instant judgment. So
okay. Thumbling.
Okay.
The Sea Hare.
Ooh.
Like that. That's easily grim.
The Princess and the Pea.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that one.
The Metal Pig.
That sounds fake as fuck. Let's go with Metal Pig.
A really impressive showing by these two trivia masters. Stevie.
Sounds like a torture device.
Yeah.
The Valiant Little Tailor. The Brave Little Tailor.
Oof.
Toaster.
The Fox and His Cousin. Time Stops for No Mouse.
That's a hard one.
Okay, so it's the Valiant Little Tailor, the Brave Little Tailor?
Yes, those are two different ones. The Fox and His Cousin, and Time Stops for No Mouse.
You know what? Let's just try to expedite. I'll say The Fox and His Cousin.
Josh is the winner. Time Stops for No Mouse was a book I read as a kid. So Josh,
there you go.
Amazing.
You have the floor. You can take us out here, give us a hot take, and kick it to Spoiler Man.
Here's my hot take. I say,
Murder kids.
Within this calendar year, 2023, we need to do the movie Robin Hood Men in Tights with Carrie Elwes and bring Nurse Stacy back into the mix. It was way too fun tonight to not do this again. That is my hot take.
Abe Lincoln.
Mom, are you up for it?
I'm in.
Yeah.
Did you say Abe Lincoln?
That's the hot take. Dave Chappelle's in that movie. Let's do that quick. Nurse Stacy, will you toss it to Spoiler Man?
Aw.
Yeah. Yeah, see?
Take it away, Spoilers Man.
Good job, Mom.
Thank you.
Spoiler Man here. Our email is podcastspoilers@gmail.com. Twitter is @spoilers_pod. Our Instagram is podcast spoilers. It's lit. Josh Hensley from the Rutabaga wrote our theme song.
Be sure to check out Corey's podcast, Big Dumb Movie.
Please support this podcast by leaving us an iTunes review. Leave us some stars and some words. Now you can check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Podcasts. If you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe on SoundCloud or iTunes. Special thank you to our patrons, Druid King,
And today I'm going to read it to you.
Brother Brian,
Is there any sports in it?
Are you kidding?
Matt Troll,
Fencing, fighting, torture, revenge, giants, monsters,
Nick,
chases, escapes, true love, miracles.
The Meg,
Doesn't sound too bad.
Nurse Stacy,
Never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line.
The Wolf.
I am no one to be trifled with. That is all you ever need know.
Barky 420,
And so you might have been truly happy.
PK.
He distinctly said to blave, and as we all know, to blave means to bluff.
Spencer,
Liar! Liar!
Gale,
Over the Albano, I think.
Swole,
At Miracle Max's. It fits so nice I could keep it.
Cheese Zombie,
That doesn't make you happy?
Hello! My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die!
Now! Offer me money. Yes. Power to promise me that. All that I have and more. Please. Offer me everything I ask for. Anything you want. I want my father back, you son of a bitch.
That was Spoilers.